Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Star Wars Visions. Last time on Star Wars Visions, we had the Ninth Jedi, where basically this guy was trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, and so he hired a lightsaber smith to build new lightsabers for new Jedi. However, the lightsaber smith was taken captive, and his daughter escaped and made it to the Jedi. However, it turns out most of them were actually Sith. But they were all defeated, and the remaining Jedi went off in search of Kara's father. And unfortunately, that's where it ends. Even though, God, I really do want more. I want more of that show, but it is not to be, I suppose. So yeah. With that said, let's just go ahead and jump right into this episode of Star Wars Visions. Here we go. Science Saru presents T0-B1.
Okay, all done, T0-B1.
This is an interesting style already. Oh, it's Astro Boy. Or Mega Man. Or Astro Boy. Oh, bro, do you hear this beat?
How many times must I tell you? Until there are clouds in the sky, and there is green on the land. We can stop only when there is life on this planet, and we are going to make this a beautiful place.
Oh, they're terraforming?
Hurry, because I really want to see the rest of the galaxy.
Listen, you don't know what it's like. You're safe here, and things are peaceful, but the galaxy is
Terrifying and full of danger.
right. So
The night is dark and full of
I've
terrors.
heard it a million times. Well, obviously it's a Jedi Knight. It's the stronghold of a Jedi Knight.
T0-B1. That's... If this was Rebels, they'd call him Toby.
You were imagining being a Jedi again, weren't you?
The droid that can imagine.
Well, enough of that.
That's because I want to become a Jedi one day, traveling the galaxy, defeating evil.
You must first accept reality. When it comes to the future,
But I feel like something is calling out to me. I keep having these dreams, and in them, I'm a great Jedi.
then you must find yourself a kyber crystal. The apprentices of Jedi Knights must search for their crystal first. So if you really want to be a Jedi, you will need to find a kyber crystal of your own.
Okay, then. Is this Tatooine?
Clear your mind. And use the Force.
The Force?
Yes, the Force is what gives a Jedi their power.
So, where do I find the Force then?
Everywhere. The Force is present in all things.
If you can hear me, report in.
Sir, we picked up a suspicious signal.
Oh no.
It could be a survivor, sir. Jedi.
Oh no! An Inquisitor!
Here.
Come here.
Oh, this guy didn't have any arms.
Taka, you're a Jedi? I had no idea.
And he has no arms. Who would have thunk?
You tell me.
CO3, I leave this trial to you. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me.
What happened to everyone?
Well, shit.
Where's the professor?
Man. Episode 4.
No.
Did the Inquisitor bury him? How nice.
I'm gonna do it. I'll continue the research. I'll fulfill the professor's dream. How did that happen?
Nah.
Could this be life? Whoa, it's raining! It's actually raining!
You guys are waterproof, right?
It really worked. The professor's dream has finally come true.
Well, you must be waterproof if he's crying.
Everyone, use the Force.
Oh, did he have a kyber crystal in him? Oh shit. He's back! Ooh. Come on, man, the Force!
Don't be afraid.
Whoa.
Professor.
Oh, the Force.
Do not worry, you are prepared for this fight, Toby.
Toby, I knew it!
Master Mitaka.
Ah! Whoa! Ah! Ah! His hand!
My name is Toby, and I'm a Jedi!
Ah!
T0-B, let's go!
Ah! Oh, get good!
We will continue our research and the professor's legacy of helping planets. Because that's what Jedi do.
Alright. Okay, that, Alright. That was a whirlwind. That was definitely a whirlwind. That really was a whirlwind, wasn't it? Not a moment to breathe. In that one, not a moment to... Am I running out of battery? Oh, Jesus. I leave this unplugged for a little while and the battery's gone. Oh, well. Star Wars Visions. T0-B1. Which I was right. Toby. Right. Science Saru. Alright. Feature films. Yokai Watch the movie. I've seen part of that. Animated series. Adventure Time Food Chain. What the... The 7th episode of the 6th season of Adventure Time. Huh. Really? Interesting. Okay. I guess that's kind of it. Well, alright then. That was interesting. Give me the cast. Alright, so Jason Waldman played Toby. Oh, he was also in The Duel. That's pretty cool. He was the young chief in that one. Let me see. No, don't really recognize him from anything. Alright, Kyle Chandler. Oh, this is the dude from, fucking... What the fuck? What is it called? Fucking Godzilla. Yeah, he was in Godzilla King of the Monsters. I remember him. Okay. It's always weird, the celebrities they get for these, the celebrities that they get in these, episodes, you know? And then Neil Kaplan. Why do I feel like we've looked up that name before? I don't know. Oh! The Inquisitor plays Commander Magath on Attack on Titan. There's a start. He's also the narrator of The Ninth Jedi, which is interesting. Interesting, though, it doesn't say the Inquisitor. Other than that, I don't think I really recognize anything. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hang on. I clicked on Twitter real quick. I accidentally clicked on Twitter. I need to get away from that. Alright. Alrighty. T0-B1. Toby. I freaking called that, though. I freaking called that they call him Toby. Yeah, quite the whirlwind, I must say. Quite the whirlwind of an episode. I mean, that really just... That goes through, like, the entirety of episode 4. Goes through all of A New Hope in, like, 14 minutes, you know? So, it's very, though... Now, having not seen much of Astro Boy, that felt very Astro Boy. Like, if you cross Astro Boy with Luke Skywalker... So, T0-B1 was a droid who was assisting in terraforming a planet. But he wanted to become a Jedi, so, Mitaka was like, hey, go find a kyber crystal. Then he sent up a signal, which is called an Inquisitor. Then Mitaka is revealed to be a Jedi. And then the continues Mitaka's dream, which then allows him to get a Kyber crystal. And it's made him a real boy. I guess it's very Pinocchio too. I guess it is very Pinocchio too. It's Pinocchio and Astro Boy and Luke Skywalker, which, again, having not seen pretty much anything of Astro Boy, like, I think the basis, isn't it? The basis is, like, it's his son or something, and then, like, he builds Astro Boy to look like his son or something like that. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong or not about that, but yeah, so... But then T0-B becomes a Jedi and a living being, has a fight with the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor sucks so much that he dies, and then that's that. I mean, it really is a world... Like, this could have been an episode where it's like, you could have taken a couple extra minutes to breathe, you know? Like, this... I don't want to... Now, I don't want to rag on this, because... This was a good episode. I don't know. See, okay, one thing about... Maybe one thing about these episodes is that some of them I wish would go further, you know? Like, you know, you get episode 1, and that was a standard samurai movie, but with Star Wars. And it was great. But it was also a very standard samurai story. And then they kind of do that again with The Village Bride, but they do add a little bit with, you know, the connection to nature and all that stuff. Whereas I kind of like the episodes that do things, you know, that make things a bit different, you know? Like, last episode, while not the, you know, craziest out there story, was very interesting of, you know, well... Yes, this girl, you know, here's our plucky young teenager who does become a Jedi, and they stop the bad guys. But there are twists and turns of, you know, her connection to the Force and how it's growing, and then the twists of, you know, the Margrave and the whole thing with the Sith. That was all great. And then you get into other episodes where it's like, okay, yeah, you know, the whole concept with the twins turning on each other is kind of interesting. And then the second episode with Tatooine Rhapsody was just way the hell out there. You know, it's like, well, we could take any normal Star Wars story, but let's turn it into rock and roll. Like, well, okay, that's out there. Good for you. That's crazy. Like, hey, we finally had an episode where there wasn't some sort of, like, lightsaber conflict, you know? But yeah, this episode, like, it was good, I will say, but it's one of those, like, yep, that was A New Hope. You know, that was A New Hope and Astro Boy, you know? The whole thing of, oh, no, you should not go out there, it is dangerous, and, you know, don't go, it's like, I don't know, like, I've seen that a lot, you know? Oh, the world out there is too dangerous, you should just stay here and not become a Jedi and all that. It's like... Okay, that's fine. And yeah, the whole twist of, oh, he actually is a Jedi, like, alright. And the whole thing of, oh, now, you, T0-B, you are my young Padawan now. You will be a true Jedi. It's like, you didn't fucking plan any of this shit. Don't fucking lie to me. Like, that whole sequence, while visually it's incredible, that whole sequence where it's like, oh yes, now you will be a true Jedi. I was like, you didn't fucking want this for him. Like, I don't know. I hate to sound like a jackass about this episode, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, that was... I mean, it's a visually stunning episode. Like, the visuals are incredible. The story, not so much, you know? Which, I mean, you could kind of say that about The Duel. The visuals of that one are amazing. The story is the most standard fucking story out there, you know? Like, that's just like one step away from, we have to train the village to fight the bandits, you know? Like, it's literally. So yeah, I hate to be a jackass about this episode. It was a good episode, but I don't know how much I can talk about this episode, you know? But some of it was interesting, you know, him going out, and I mean, just the whole concept of a droid becoming a Jedi is a very, different idea. We don't really get that too often, I don't think. And then, because you also have the whole thing, when he cries, and it's like, oh, he's crying. Like, okay, well then clearly, yes, this droid, TB01, or T0-B1, Toby, he is clearly different. He's not a normal droid, So, he's not a normal droid. So, yeah, that's very interesting. He's different from other droids. He's not, C-3PO. Oh, goodness me. No, we cannot be doing this, So, yeah, like, that's all very interesting. And this droid, because he also said, I have this, it's like this thing is calling out to me. But then, it's like, okay, this thing is calling out to him, he says. And Mitaka says, well, you need to use the Force to find the Kyber crystal. And then he doesn't. He doesn't. He's just like, okay, well, I guess forget being a Jedi. I'm just going to continue the terraforming. And, oh, hey, I guess I get a Kyber crystal now. Cool. Or the whole thing of, like, no, you shouldn't, you are here to be safe. You shouldn't become a Jedi. But if you're going to be a Jedi, you need to look for a Kyber crystal. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. It's just kind of strange, Like, a couple things, especially around Mitaka, that it's like, well, what the hell? What are we doing here, Like, do you want him to be a Jedi or not? You're not really clear on this, man. So, I don't know. The fight was interesting, although I will say there's only so many times I can say that was a really great visual fight. I mean, it was good. The whole thing was good. I love the animation style and stuff, but yeah, it's like you start getting through this and it's like, all right, so they're fighting in the rain. Like, okay, what stands out about this? Like, well, it's a really great fight. I've also had a lot of other great fights. That's why, honestly, I'm starting to appreciate the second episode more, where it's like, no, it's a fucking rock concert. Cool. That's different. Like, it's interesting that it's like a lot of these episodes are, this person truly becomes a Jedi, whether for the first time or again, but they're truly a Jedi, and they defeat the bad guy in a lightsaber duel. And I know that's a lot of Star Wars, it's the pot calling the kettle black, I understand that's a lot of Star Wars, but you can fucking do something different, That's why we get stuff like Rogue One or Solo, where it's like, yeah, it's not just lightsabers swinging around. We gotta do something else, And yes, lightsabers are great, but I would like something else. The fact of the matter is, a lot of these episodes are starting to almost blend together. Almost. Obviously, what sets them apart is the visuals, And the visuals are really, really great. And maybe the problem is with me, that in these discussions, I like to talk about story, Yes, if there's something interesting visually or in the editing, I love pointing that stuff out. But there's not 1,000 things I can say about that. What I normally talk about in these discussions is the story, and let's face it, this story was a little basic, Interesting, but basic. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an asshole. It's entirely possible. I'm just an asshole, but... And maybe it's also the fact that I am doing this week by week. This entire season was released all at the same time. If you watch the entire season back to back, maybe it doesn't really, maybe it doesn't feel like this, But at the end of the day, I'm sitting here, another week has passed, and it's almost the same. Like, the story basically ends the same. The Jedi defeats the bad guy. And that's great and everything. And there is some interesting stuff. I guess the other thing with this, though, is the inconsistencies in this story. Whereas other stories don't really have this problem. Like The Village Bride, which is a very basic story, but I really like The Village Bride. And I like The Ninth Jedi. Like, those two, I think, are kind of my favorites right now. But this whole thing of, like, oh, well, I don't want you to go out there. I don't want you to become a Jedi. But if you're going to do it, you better find a Kyber crystal. Like, oh, you know, I have this thing I feel like something's calling out to me. You need to use the Force. No. And then he just doesn't, and he gets the Kyber crystal anyway. It's like, well, what the fuck? What is the point of the Force? You know, like, I thought the whole thing, you know, you use the Force, and then you find, it's like, no. He stumbled onto the ship, and then was like, well, I guess I'll finish, you know, Mitaka's dream. And then after that, he was such a good boy that he got the Kyber crystal. Like, what the hell? You know, like, that's not a story, really. That's not a hero's journey. I don't feel like T0-B1 learned anything from this, you know? So, I guess that's what it comes down to with this episode, is the story is okay. It's good, it's not bad, but it has some problems. Whereas other stories, while yes, basic, are still pretty standard. Even the duel, at the end of the day, yes, it's a good story, and it is consistent, as basic as it is. Then you get the Village Bride, and you add a little bit more to it. The Ninth Jedi is really good. Tatooine Rhapsody is fucking out there, and I love it. And then the Twins is kind of the only other one where I'm just like, oh, okay, sure, that story. You know, it's like, oh, I've seen, you know, the good or whatever, and it's like, oh, I cannot do this because I care about you, and oh, I'm just evil, and it's like, okay, cool, like, we had an interesting concept, but you're not really doing much with it. Maybe that's it. At the end of the day, it's that between this and something like the Twins is like, okay, well, you have an interesting concept. You're not doing too much with it. Whereas something like the duel, it's almost not an interesting concept. Like, oh, this samurai shows up to defeat the bandits. That's not that interesting at the end of the day. But the way they do it is very interesting. You know, this almost like Samurai Jack, you know, version where it's, you know, yes, it's a samurai story, but it's also got all this tech, you know, this futuristic, you know, scientific, you know, tech and stuff. And the visuals on that are breathtaking. So maybe that's it. Is that the visuals on this episode, great. The story, it had an interesting idea of a droid becoming a Jedi. But that almost, like, as the droid became the Jedi, it kind of took away anything interesting about the droid. It's like, oh, it's just a fucking Jedi now. Great, I've seen 1,000 Jedi. Why can't, like, show me something interesting, like, show me something cool about why this droid is a Jedi. Like, that should be really interesting. Like, okay, how does that differ? It's like hearing, like, oh, this Mandalorian became a Jedi. I want to see a Mandalorian Jedi. That sounds awesome. That sounds like something different than our run-of-the-mill Jedi. But at the end of the day, Toby just kind of became a run-of-the-mill Jedi. And that's not the most interesting thing. A droid Jedi is interesting. A droid becoming a Jedi is actually not. I don't know. I've gone through like this weird discovery thing as we've gone on through this discussion. But yeah, I don't know. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, if I'm just, you know, blowing all this out of my ass or something. But I don't know. At the end of the day, this one is good. It's good. It's not great. Fantastic visuals, I must say. But other than that, story is decent. You know? I don't know. Well, anyway, we got 3 left of these. 3 more of these. So yeah, next time around we will be watching whatever the hell is next from whoever studio is doing it next. And whoever celebrity voices they wrangle in for that episode. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Star Wars Visions reactions, there is a playlist on screen, as well as another playlist for all of my Bad Batch reactions. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.